Yo, 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 what's really good, family? I am your host, your brother, your professor, Mr. O'Neill Barnaby, founder and director of the Black Math Academy, here demonstrating to you guys exactly what intelligent black society is all about. The other day, on my Facebook page, rather, I made a post about asking the people, have you ever wondered how colleges actually calculate your GPA? So I'm going to show you guys exactly how they do that. All right, so let's get it started. All right. All right, anyway, the question reads, given that the number of credit hours determines the weight of each course, what is Adam's grade point average based on the classes he has so far received grades for? And in parentheses, it says round to the nearest tenth. All right, and our choices, we have four choices: A 3.0, B 3.1, C 3.2, or D 3.3. And here we have a chart. It's a sample college report card. We have the classes here: biology, physics, Latin, world history, freshman seminar, and college writing. We have his grades. We have his GPA for each class and his credit hours for each class. All right, so basically what we're doing is trying to figure out his GPA, and that would be an average problem. All right, so the way to solve an average problem is to add the values together and divide by the number of numbers. So we have 3.7, 2.3, 3.0, 3.3, and 4.0. All right, so if we were to add these values together, let's see, 7 and 3 is 10, and 3 is 13. 1 and 3 is 4, and 2 is 6, and 3 is 9, and 3 is 12, and 4 is 16. So adding these values together, you get 16.3. All right, total of 5 classes that he has so far. So you divide that by 5. And 16.3 divided by 5. Let me do the math a little bit. 16.3 divided by 5. You get 3. That's a 15. Subtract, you get 1. Bring down the 3, you get 13. 5 goes into 13 twice, which gives me the 10. And 13 minus 10 is 3. Add a 0 and drop it. 5 goes into 36 times, and 30 would be the result, and nothing is left over. So 3.26 would be Adam's GPA. But hold on. Actually, this is not the way to go about solving this particular problem. The reason being is because the way we solved it, you would be assuming that in each class, he took the same number of tests. Like, imagine if he only took one test for each class. The way we solved it assumes that he did. In actuality, he didn't. And the reason why we know that is because of his credit hours. The credit hours is a way to adjust for the difference in how many tests you take in each class. Think of it like in your school, where you are taught by one particular math teacher and maybe your friend is taught by another math teacher. In your class, you may take 3 tests for the year, and maybe your friend, he takes 5 classes the entire year. So because the two of you took 2 different number of tests throughout the year, we can't treat you both the same. So we have to take the fact that you took 3 and your friend took 5 tests into account as we're trying to calculate the GPA. So these credit hours is sort of a way of evaluating that. The credit hours is a weighted average. So what this problem actually is a weighted average problem. And to go about solving a weighted average problem is very similar to an average problem where you add the numbers together and divide by the number of numbers. However, you have to take into account the weighted part, also called adjustments. They use that phrase to describe it as well. So what we're going to do is take his GPA, multiply by the number of credit hours, and that'll be what he got for that class. And 2.3 times 4, 3.0 times 2, 3.3 times 3, and 4.0 times 1. That's the actual way to go about solving a problem like this. So 3.7 times 3 is 11.1. 2.3 times 4 is 9.2. 3.0 times 2 is 6.0. 3.3 times 9, that's right, 3.3 times 3 rather, is 9.9. And 4.0 times 1 is just 4.0. So we're going to add these values together. And the result of adding these values together becomes 40.2. So yeah, the 3.7 times 3, all these products become these values here. And then we're going to add these values together, and that becomes our sum. Now we have to divide by the number of numbers. Now in this case, the number of numbers are the total weighted hours for his entire schedule. So the credit hours that he has here, 3, 4, 2, 3, and 1, that would be the total number of numbers. So 3 and 4 is 7, 7 and 2 is 9, 9 and 3 is 12, 12 and 1 is 13. So we're actually dividing by 13. And if you were to solve this problem, 40.2 divided by 13 ends up becoming 3.09. So this is actually his weighted average. It's a 3.09. Now compare that to what we got before, 3.26, and you can see he didn't do as well as he thought. Or even with our bad calculations, we would have assumed we had a better GPA, but in actuality, he did not. We actually received a 3.09. And if you were to round this to the nearest tenth, it would be 3.1. So choice B, 3.1, would be the correct answer. And that is how you go about solving a weighted average problem, and in specific, how you go about solving your GPA, specifically in college as it pertains to your credit hours. So that's how you go about solving that kind of problem. That's another example of Intelligent Black Society. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And always remember that if the shoe fits, buy a matching purse.